Okay, it's evaluation week here at Formula 7. Today we're going to talk about fun things to evaluate and some tools you can use for evaluation. But first, I love this quote. When performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, the rate of improvement accelerates. I found that to be absolutely true, both in my business and in my health, and I hope that you will as well. Just by evaluating, measuring some of these things, it will help you then to improve it. The first thing that you can measure is the easiest one because almost every house in America has a scale. And so you ought to be weighing yourself. Now I know weight is not the be all and end all of health by any means, but it is a very simple thing to do. I do know a man who didn't weigh himself for 6 years. And when he did finally again step on the scale, he was shocked to see he had gained 40 pounds. Probably wouldn't have happened if he would have continued to weigh himself. And so weighing is valuable. Measuring your intake. We have more on that in a different video that's coming out soon. And so I won't go into too much detail here, but keeping track of what you eat is a wonderful thing to do about every 8 weeks. Just for 3 or 4 days is even very valuable. Your girth. To take a cloth tape measure and measure your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your hips and waist, your right thigh and your right arm is a very standard way of taking measurements and keeping track. And we will be putting up a YouTube video for how to measure for men and how to measure for women. And girth is a good thing to track. So is body fat. I know at my local gym, they will do a body fat analysis for $8 using the caliper method, which is generally considered to be fairly accurate. And for our purposes, accurate enough, okay? Because we simply want to take the snapshot and then forget about it and do it again in 8 weeks just to compare where we've come from. Performance. If you're an athlete and you run or bike or swim or lift weights, you can measure your performance and ought to do that about every 8 weeks anyway. So why not measure how much you can deadlift or how much you can bench press or how fast you run a 5K or a mile or swim 1,000 meters. Whatever it is that you're doing, think through your goals and your objectives and what it is that you do performance-wise and take a quick measurement of it so you know where you're at and then work on improving it. And that's a great way to improve your health. Some of the tools that you can use are a simple measuring tape for measuring, a scale, or like I use an Omron machine, which is like a glorified scale that in addition to measuring your weight, also gives you an estimated body fat, visceral fat, an estimated body age, BMI, etc. So that's a cool thing. You can buy them online for about $60 and it gives you additional information to what a plain scale would. For intake, an app like MyFitnessPal or any other comparable app is fine, just to enter everything that you eat. And again, you'll probably be surprised when you start doing that at the ratios between your fats, carbs, and protein, for one thing, and certain things you might be out of balance on. This one here is a big one. Almost all health insurance plans include paying 100% for a yearly physical. In a yearly physical, your doctor will do blood work, do a thorough analysis for you of your current health, and that can be very valuable. I'm shocked at how many people don't take those seriously. I do mine every single year. My doctor knows when I come that he's in for it because it's not good enough for me just to get the PDF report that they email to me. I actually call him on the phone and we spend another 30 minutes going through that in detail because I really want to know what's going on there and discover anything that I might need to change. Also, as you get older, obviously this is even more important because they may discover something that you would never even have thought of or discovered disease-wise or some condition that you have that you weren't aware of. So it's important to get your yearly physical and usually free. You can go above and beyond a yearly physical from your doctor by going to a site like wellnessfx.com where they can, in addition to doing basic blood work, they can also determine whether you might be nutrient deficient. For example, most people on this planet are vitamin D deficient. That's just one example, and we'll be talking in supplements about which supplements you ought to be taking, but almost everyone is vitamin D deficient. And there's a variety of things you may be deficient on and not know it. Green Smoothie Girl, she has a blog about green smoothies and thought that if she ate green smoothies all the time, she wouldn't be deficient in anything. But she did a blog post where she measured and she was actually mineral deficient and so started to take a fulvic acid complex like our Mimi's Miracle Minerals product. And so that was shocking to her because she thought she'd get all that from eating a high level of fruits and vegetables, and she didn't. She still had to supplement. A Notes app is a phenomenal tool to keep track of these things. We all have one on our smartphone. I actually have my performance records going back years on a simple app on my phone. How fast I was running certain distances, swimming and biking when I was in triathlon. Currently I'm doing CrossFit, and so some of the measures are different. It's like, how many push-ups can you do in a minute? How much can I squat and deadlift, and all those types of things are the things I'm keeping track of now. But whatever that is for you, you can keep track of all this information on a simple Notes app or a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be complicated. The key is to pick from this list, or even things that I haven't even thought of, those things that are important for you to measure, and then measure them. In 8 weeks, we'll have another evaluation week where you'll go through and compare where you are then to where you are now, and hopefully you will improve. And that's the whole point. But if you don't measure, you don't even know how much you have improved. So pick a couple of things from the list. Pick some of those things perhaps we haven't even listed that are important to you. Write them down, and in 8 weeks, after taking the Formula 7 course for 8 weeks, we'll reevaluate.